Jennifer. I want to show you the books that we use for Gabriel this year for fourth grade. So when you're deciding if you want to do Abeka again for Alex or if you're going to go to SOS. If you do Abeka, there's a lot more books, but I have a lot of the books, so I could share my books with you if you decide to do Abeka again. So the spelling, it's a little bigger. The lists are a little bit longer, and they have activity pages, so like both sides. So like we copy it every day, and then one day we do the activities. And it comes with, which I usually just call the words out, but I do have like a teacher book, spelling book or whatever. It does have tests, and then it has like work for your vocabulary words or whatever. I don't always use those. Sometimes I just call the words out. Anyway, obviously I've got the readers. We haven't started science yet because we're doing health first, but for science there's 4 books. Actually 5, because there's a science book too, a big science book, reading science book, but I figure out what I did with that. Anyway, these are the activity book and the teacher grade book for activities, and then the test book and the teacher test book. So the activities look like this. Those are pretty fun. You go out and look for leaves or whatever, identify the bugs. The test, like I said, we haven't started this yet because we're doing health first. Health is only 40 lessons, and then this is the rest of the year. But like this is the test and the quizzes. So like she'll read or whatever you'll learn, and then she'll have to fill in the blank. There's some true false. It's a little, like, see, this test is 3 pages. That one test. Yeah, that one test is 3 pages long. So the tests are definitely longer. There's more writing involved. Health, which is what we're doing right now. This is the health book. It's a little bit thicker. And the pages are a little bit longer. A little more detailed probably than last year's health. So like right now we're learning about the respiratory system. We've already learned the bones and the muscles. And it comes with there's the teacher book. Here's the actual, so it's got like review sheets in it and quizzes in it and tests in it. So like, see, they'll learn about their teeth and stuff. They have to fill in the blank. Some of it, but he does pretty good on the health. The history is where you're going to be like, sheesh, and I have to let him do open book quizzes because the history is pretty tough. And I also have these, which are the teacher curriculums. So because there's so many more pages and stuff, it'll tell you like what day to do. In history, it can get really confusing. I have to really read and pay attention because this is the history book and this is how thick it is. But like you're doing history and geography. So there's some days where it'll tell you to go to the front of the book. I don't know if you can see the front of the book, but the front of the book has all these geography pages where it's like facts about the continents and locating the continents and how to read a map, and then like facts about the oceans and about the continents, like the smallest ocean, the warmest ocean, the coldest ocean, stuff like that. Then Courtney, please refrain from aggravating the dog. So, Courtney, stop it. So, look, then it's got like deserts, altitude, all these words. Then you have like the atlas section, and it's got all these different maps, the physical map and the political map. And it's like you have to, like, it's the maps of like when the country first got started, the first 13 colonies, and then they're real detailed. And so there's going to be like, I don't really get hung up on this crap, this learning the pledge, yes, but like there's the creed, the America's Creed, and all the stuff that you would memorize. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, but I'm not into memorizing like the first day of school, it said for me to go to page, I forgot, somewhere back here, and it was like, start reading the American Creed or whatever, and read it every day. I don't do that. I read it one time, and that was it. So the reading is a lot more detailed, and it gives you these detailed timelines, and there's a lot of memorization in the history. So we pretty much, I just review with him. Like, And I've got to where the last couple of weeks I've been highlighting the important stuff, the stuff that I know is going to be on a quiz. But like at the end of each chapter, you know, it's got all these questions, and we do these together. So I just try to do it with him because I know there's no way he's going to read this and retain all this. There's so many dates and names. I'm struggling. I mean, like at the end of the chapter, he's trying to remember all of these explorers and what they discovered, and it's hard. And it's just a lot. So anyway, that comes with, because it's two things, it's history and geography. It comes with history quizzes and history and geography reviews. So like I have a teacher book and then I have the workbook, but it's pages like this where you have to like identify certain things on the map. It's like, let's see here. See, like, write one fact about each colony, and it's got Delaware, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New York, all those. And then, like, right here, it's got the first 13 colonies. And then here, it's like label these North American places. It's going to be like mountain ranges and stuff. So there's a lot of detail that you have to really pay attention and know where to go in the front of the history book for that information, for like the mountain ranges and stuff. Because if you just go straight through and you don't use the teacher books, you're like, wait, what? What's all this stuff about mountains? Because we didn't do that. So I have to really pay attention because it has me do stuff in the front where the atlas section is and then in the back where the history is. And so there are some days where we're doing these. And then there's also the history quizzes and tests, which look something like this. Like Gabriel did this one today, and I made a copy of it. But this part was pretty easy for him. He's got the continents memorized. I think you did that in 3rd grade. I think y'all did that this year. But I can email it. It's okay. And this right here, but like these are a little more difficult. Like, what did Ponce de Leon discover? And like the Viking who was first to visit America. I mean, that's stuff that's crap. It's hard for me to remember. So we just have to, like, every day review. And every time we learn about a new person, I try to think of some way to help him remember the name and what they did, because there's so much to remember in that history. And then arithmetic's pretty simple. It's going to be about the same. Again, I have the teacher book, but I don't usually use the teacher book on arithmetic because it's so simple, because you've got your, you got your lessons at the bottom of each page. So, you know, if it skips a lesson number, then you know, oh, that means we're doing a test today. Like if it skips lesson 29, then I know that lesson 29 is in this book. But you can look and kind of see how much more difficult it is. Let's see if I can find a test and show you. Like, here's a test. They're front and back, like this one. It's just got some measurements and stuff, and then there's the back of the test. So it's a little more work than what you're doing this year. It frustrates Gabriel, but that's okay. He needs to do more work. You don't need to be lazy. So we talked about language. Okay, so language is pretty much the same too. Oh, there's the science book I was looking for earlier. It's pretty thick. Language is about the same. It's pretty much the same as what you're doing right now. Right now, but Gabriel and I are still reviewing the types of sentences and punctuation and stuff like that. So, but it's pretty much the same as what you're used to. And then the tests in those are like today he had a test and it was front and back and then this page. So it's longer. I mean, there's more work than there was last year, but it's pretty much the same. The biggest difference to me is the history, because I know last year's history was like this little skinny book, and this year it's this, and you're doing the fact that you're having to do the atlases and the geography study while you're doing the history study, it's just a lot more, and there's a lot more to remember, and that part's kind of challenging. Trying to think what else. Of course, we practice cursive writing, but I just use old books for that. I pull out old cursive writing books, or I let him write on the marker board. And I'm making practice the alphabet with that. What other subject am I forgetting, Kimber? I've got arithmetic, language, history, science, health. I talked about health, didn't I?
Yeah, I think.
And reading. I guess that's it. I think I said everything. I guess that's it. The science book, I'll open it up and flip it through and let you see. There's a lot of colored pictures. It's more reading than last year. The book's a little thicker and it's got more words on it. But this kind of stuff's usually, I don't know, we read all this stuff together. Otherwise, he'd be bored out of his mind. But we read it and talk about it as we go and try to find examples because that way he likes it. If he has to do it by himself, he hates it. But if I do it with him, it's his favorite. So, and also, I don't know if she's memorized all her multiplication, but I printed out of the back of the book the multiplication tables. And then there's one I printed too that's, I just make copies on my printer, actually. This one's kind of all mixed up, like a whole bunch of random ones. But the multiplication tables that are harder to memorize, it doesn't have the zeros and the ones on here because those are so simple, and the tens. But these are the ones that they have to memorize. And so every day I'm giving him one of these to start the day, and I'm making him do them because he's still kind of slow when he goes to multiply. And now that he's multiplying bigger numbers, like in the hundreds, I don't want him to have to stop and think about what's 8 times 5. So I don't know if you want to do that or not, but anyway, I made copies of that, and I make him do that every day before he starts math just to kind of wake his brain up. And I tried downloading a couple of games with multiplication, but I found that he was just clicking answers and just guessing because he was trying to hurry up and win the game. So it was like, click A, click B, click C, click D, click D. You know, it was like, you're not even on the answer. You're just clicking answers. So that didn't work, so we're doing the sheet now. But I also, like, just, if you want to do it next year, I have, like this one fell apart and I put it in a binder, but this is, like, everything for language arts. It tells you when to do your spelling test and when to do the worksheets and when to do your quizzes. I mean, most of that you can figure out on your own. The only one that's really difficult to keep up with is the history because of all that geography stuff that they mixed in. And I don't know if you got these, but I have some of these charts. I've had these forever, but I haven't even looked at the science book in forever. I need to pull this out and look at it again. And I really need to get another one of the math one because I have lost a lot of the charts that went in that one. Anyway, I rambled on to say all that just so you can kind of have an idea of if you want to do that next year or if you think you want to do the SOS. I told Gabriel today, if his handwriting doesn't get neat, we're not going to do computer. That I have to see his handwriting be neat and consistently neat, or he's going to keep doing this because he really thinks he wants to do the computer. Really, I think he just doesn't know. It just sounds good. But he can write neat because he'll do something really neat and bring it to me and say, would you put this on the refrigerator because it's so neat? And then the next paper he does, like all of his letters will run together with no spaces in between. And I'm like, it looks like one giant word. So that's kind of where we are with it. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know.